The Unreal Estate Series. Book 1. One Crooked House. Prologue. Mandy-Lynn Snow was running for her life, her crimson real estate blazer flapping in the wind, when her cell phone beeped that a text had come in. She didn't even try to read it, let alone respond. Death by texting while being chased by a tiger was just about the last thing she wanted headlining her obituary. The tiger that was chasing her swerved left. She swerved right. The tiger wasn't fooled. In 2 strides it was breathing down her neck again. She spotted the swimming pool dead ahead, but hopefully not dead ahead. The real estate info had said that there was an in-ground pool. But it hadn't said anything about a tiger in the solarium. Could tigers swim? Of course they could, but they probably didn't like water. They were cats, after all. Mandy-Lynn dodged around a perfectly trimmed ornamental shrub, and leapt feet first into the pool. Her sensible heels broke through a wafer-thin layer of ice on impact. Well, it was mid-November in the northern hemisphere, so ice was to be expected. Give it a few more weeks, and she probably could have skated on the swimming pool. Mandy-Lynn managed to haul in one deep breath before she sank under water that was every bit as cold as the ice that had capped it. She had landed in the deep end, and was in over her head, in more ways than one. Perhaps because of the adrenaline surging through her veins, and the 100-yard dash she had just sprinted, the frigid water did not feel quite as shocking as it might. She held that precious breath as she sank to the bottom of the pool, waiting to see if the tiger was inclined to join her for a swim. Nothing happened for the longest time, so she read her text. Her phone was water-resistant enough to still be functioning. The message was from Select Real Estate, her employer, the employer who had sent her to have a preliminary look-see at their newest and most affluent listing, so she could compose those captivating descriptions that she was so good at. She had been enjoying her first stroll through the fantastic property, poetic phrases dancing through her head, when she had come face to face with a furry, striped, and snarling face. A tiger. In spite of the snarling, her first thought had been, a house tiger, it must be tame. It was a cat, after all. She had a cat at home, and it was perfectly tame, if a whole lot smaller. She had extended her hand and said, "Here kitty kitty. Nice kitty kitty." As it turned out, the tiger wasn't a nice kitty kitty. It was a wild, bloodthirsty kitty kitty. She had run for her life, and now she was at the bottom of an icy pool, reading a text that said, BTW, do not enter solarium. Guard tiger in solarium. The text was about 5 minutes too late. And guard tiger. Was that a real thing? Then again, there were guard dogs, so perhaps a guard cat wasn't such a stretch. And a guard tiger would be much more effective than any old guard dog. Found tiger attacked by tiger, Mandy-Lynn texted back, or so she thought. Attracted to tigers, said the text that answered hers. Stupid autocorrect. She did not have time to type everything twice. Attacked hiding in pool drowning help, she keyed, including an unknown number of exclamation points for emphasis. She had just pressed send, when the gigantic cat joined her. It roared when it hit the water. It probably didn't like the frigid temperature any more than she did. The cold was permeating her body now, stabbing icy needles deep into her bones. The tiger's enormous paws dog-paddled, or cat-paddled, above her, churning the water into foam. Mandy-Lynn kept holding her breath, not daring to surface with the tiger overhead. Her lungs cramped painfully. She couldn't feel her hands or her feet anymore. She saw shooting stars zipping through the water, and still had the wherewithal to know they were only inside her head. Mandy-Lynn lived such a humdrum and routine existence, she had half expected to die of boredom someday in the nebulous future. She certainly hadn't expected to die so bizarrely, and in her prime, but that's exactly what was happening. The stars imploded and blinked out of existence. Mandy-Lynn died. She was dead for quite a long while before she was fished out of the water. Well, there was a tiger to corral before she could be rescued. And then there was a rather prolonged discussion between the two paramedics over whether or not to attempt a resuscitation, given the amount of time she had not been breathing. In the end, they gave it a half-hearted try, since extreme cold had been known to stop cellular degeneration and preserve a body. Regardless, they were more surprised than Mandy-Lynn when she revived. Based on the time of her last text, she had been clinically dead for 42 minutes. There are some places you're never supposed to come back from. Dead is one of those places. And Mandy-Lynn didn't come back alone.